Hi AP Psychology students and welcome back. Today we are moving into a new unit, so we're going to be talking about the ideas of motivation and emotion. And this aligns with College Board topic 4.6, which is explain how theories about motivation apply to behavior and human or mental processes. And today we're going to focus particularly on motivational theories, and we're going to look at two essential questions. So the first one is, what theories explain human motives? And then how does biology and environment influence our motivations? So when we talk about motivation, it's important to understand that human behavior is driven by both internal, which we think of as biological, and external, so environmental motives, right? And sometimes these are referred to as a push and a pull. So the biological motives push behavior in a certain direction, and the internal or the external or environmental motives pull our behavior in a certain direction. So pushed from within and pulled from outside. When we look at this push-pull idea, there are several different theories that have developed, and the same thing is true here that is true about most of the theories that we learn about in psychology. It's not that one theory is right and another is wrong, but it's that one theory explains a particular human behavior while other theories better explain different behaviors. So we have the evolutionary or instinct theory, the drive reduction theory, arousal and sensation seeking theory, self-determination theory, incentive theory, and conflict theory. So when we take a look at these theories, the first three, the instinct or evolution, drive reduction, and arousal and sensation seeking, are going to be push. So they're more biological in nature. They come from within our bodies to motivate particular behaviors. And then self-determination theory, incentive theory, and motivational conflicts theory are more of those external or environmental motives. So they kind of pull our behavior in certain directions based on what the environment or what external incentives there are for our behavior. So the first one is that evolutionary or instinct theory. So honestly, this mostly applies to non-human species. So the idea is that a lot of non-human species have innate patterns of behavior that are due to particular stimuli. So examples: bears hibernating in the winter, geese migration, butterfly migration, certain hunting patterns, all of these things that animals have that they do instinctively. This doesn't mean that humans don't have any kind of instinctual behaviors. Obviously we have instincts to survive and to reproduce, but in general, we don't have this innate pattern of behavior, right? Like not all humans hibernate or migrate or whatever it is. So the next theory is drive reduction theory. So drive reduction theory is a biological theory, and it's the idea that we have a biological need. So we have needs that our body has, and those needs create a drive, and that drive motivates us to satisfy the need. So at its easiest kind of way of explaining it, you have a need for hunger, right? So you have a need for food, so the drive is hungry, and then what do? You eat, right? Or same thing, so you have a biological need for hydration, so the drive is thirsty, and then you drink. Or you have a biological need for sleep, so the drive is that you get tired, and then the sleep is what fixes it, right? So ultimately the idea is that you have a need and then you reduce, right? That need creates a drive and then you reduce it by doing a behavior. The goal with this behavior, or the goal with this theory, is to maintain homeostasis or balance. So the idea is that your body likes to be in a state of balance, kind of biologically, right? So it likes to have the right blood sugar levels and the right hours of sleep and the right hydration levels, all of these things. And that when those go out of balance, that's when the need is created and then the drive. And then you reduce it to go back to balance or homeostasis. So the next theory kind of goes against that, right? It's almost the opposite. So instead of being driven by that balance or homeostasis, in this case, we're driven by the need for excitement, arousal, adrenaline, heart pumping, kind of like energy, right? And this is the arousal theory. Now, what's interesting about this is that every human all humans have different optimal levels of arousal. So it's not like every human has the same needs for excitement, curiosity, fun, although we all do have that need. So one of the ways that they've looked at this is in terms of how this need for arousal can impact our performance on certain tasks. And what they find is this idea called the Yerkes-Dodson law. So this is the idea that when we perform a task, right, we want to have what's called an optimal level of arousal. So if we don't have enough arousal, we're bored, we're tired, we're kind of over it. If we have too much arousal, we're stressed, we're anxious, that's going to make us perform worse. But we want a moderate level of arousal when we're performing certain tasks. So if you're an athlete and you're performing at a game, or if you're a student and you're taking a test, or if you are a speaker and you're going to give a speech, right? Any of those things where you're performing or doing something, you want a moderate level of arousal. Another example, another way that they've looked at kind of how this is different from individual to individual is the idea of sensation-seeking theory. So with this theory, the idea is that people have different needs for novel experiences that drive their behavior. And they kind of categorize these needs into 4 different areas. So you have experience-seeking needs, thrill or adventure-seeking, disinhibition, and boredom susceptibility. And you can actually get an individual score on these, and that might tell you how open you are to taking various risks and how much kind of excitement or adrenaline rush you need in your life. The next theory is moving on into our pull theories, right? So self-determination theory focuses on how humans are motivated from within, but not biologically. So like, what are the feelings, the needs that humans have to make us feel kind of complete and motivated to do something? And there's 3 of them. So autonomy, competence, and relatedness. So what they find is that humans are intrinsically motivated to do tasks when we feel like we're effective, so that's the competence, when we feel like we have choice, that's autonomy, and when we feel connected or belong to other people, and that's relatedness. So when these 3 things are being met, we are often driven from within to do the behavior or to reach our own goals. The next kind of environmental theory is incentive theory. So this idea, instead of talking about how humans are kind of intrinsically motivated, speaks to how humans are extrinsically motivated. So motivated by external motivations. So not necessarily what you want to do or what matters to you or what makes you feel good or valued or any of those things like self-determination theory, but more like rewards, secondary reinforcements, money, praise, trophies, any of those things, fame, right? How are we pulled by those external motivations to choose certain behaviors over others? And then finally, there's a theory that, all throughout your life you have to make choices, right? And choices create conflicts, right? You have to choose. And people have to resolve the conflict, and then that resolution drives their behavior in one place or another. And there's 3 different ways that we can look at these conflicts. So you can have an approach-approach conflict, an approach-avoidance conflict, or avoidance-avoidance. So if you see in the graphic, approach-approach is when you have 2 good examples. So do I want to have a hot dog or do I want to have a taco? You like both of those things, but you still have to make a choice, and that choice motivates your behavior. Approach avoidance is when you have one thing that has both good and bad side effects. So like, you want to have an ice cream, which you enjoy, but you don't want to gain weight, like you want to be healthy. Most choices are approach avoidance, right? And that they kind of motivate us because they're good, but they have negatives, and we have to kind of make choices between them. And if we want to stay healthy, we might avoid the ice cream to keep our weight, or if we're not so much focused on the weight, we might eat the ice cream. And then the last one is avoidance. And these are the kind of conflicts that no one loves. They're when you have 2 choices that you don't want to do either of them, right? So in this instance, it's either eating healthy or getting sick, and maybe you don't want to do either of those things. Neither of them are exciting for you. However, they are important. So you choose healthy eating over getting sick, and that motivates your behavior, and then you make better eating choices, right? So today we've talked about different theories that explain human behavior and how humans are motivated to make different choices. And we looked at that from both a biological and an environmental perspective. Make sure you can answer our essential questions before you end this video. That's all for now, AP Psychos. And remember, psychology is flippin' awesome.